To get your message out to over 2 million homes, call Positive Promotions at 302-292-3994 or log on to our website at posprotv.com.
Oh, thank you so much. Welcome back, and we're going to talk now a little bit with this is Margaret. We're here beside me. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm so amazed with the decoy. I wanted to say duck, but it's not a duck. It's a decoy. Look real to you, then, Kevin.
It does.
Yeah, but you know, let's talk about first of all, the museum is where?
It's in Havre de Grace, on the waterfront, right off the promenade.
Yeah, and let's
promenade.
Yeah,
the promenade. We have our own ramp on the promenade. It comes right up to the building.
Yeah, and then when you talk about that, inside there is filled with decoys.
Decoys, contemporary and historic working decoys.
Yeah, and then we talk about decoys because it's important people understand. You know, we were chit-chatting a little bit before we came on here, and first of all, decoy's been around. I guess, do they even know? Well,
in a cave in Nevada, they were doing some pre-Columbian excavations, and they found a basket that had decoys in it made out of reeds, and the paint was still on them, and they were obviously canvasback ducks. And when they did the radiocarbon, they found these in like 1925, and when they did the radio dating on them, they were 10,000 years old.
Imagine having those babies today. They'd be worth a lot, I'm telling you.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you just said last week somebody bought one at auction for 1.something million. Maybe.
I heard that. There's been some outrageous prices paid on birds over the last couple of years.
But when it comes to it, Kevin, because you got to understand, you know, you got so many different ones out there, and then you got people that are trying to
fake it,
make it look like it's old, but it's not old, because it all boils down to like this one that we have here, which is a great piece. I mean, do you have any idea age on this?
I have no idea. I'm not even sure who the maker is.
Yeah, and that's the important part, is who the maker is. I mean, if you got that, the artist name, then
it'd be like getting a Wyeth.
Oh, you got it, and some of them can get up there pretty good. So you know, but when it comes to carving, because there's an old way, there's a new way.
Right.
The old way, you know, what you think this was done?
Hand chopped. They would start with a block of wood about the size of whatever species bird they wanted to go hunting. And then they just start taking a hatchet to it and chop it until it got to the basic form. And then they would start taking draw knives and spoke knives like they would use for wheels, making wagon wheels and barrels and things. And then they would shape it down to the form, and then they would sand it, and then the heads are always done separate.
And then of course they paint them afterwards.
Then
and
they paint
them. And you get some artists out there that just, because the ones, if you can get some shots of the ones out here on the table.
Yeah.
Because
that one tied.
These are actually hand painted still. I mean, and people don't realize that. You see them sitting out and everything, but they're not made by chopping anymore. They actually have a lathe now.
They have a body turning machine that produces them, and they get the basic body form, and then once they pull it off of the machine, then they'll start with the knives and drawing them down to the forms, and then again the heads are separate, so then they would do those separate.
And then the painting comes into it.
Painting comes in. Some of the guys could carve, but they couldn't paint, and some guys can paint.
I was going to say this guy here
couldn't paint.
Yeah, he wasn't too much of a painter, but at the same time, what a piece to have. I mean, sitting on, and a lot of people are doing that, using as decorations in homes.
That's what they're primarily using them for now, is collection and setting them there for reminders of the past.
Yeah, but there's still those few that'll take one like this and throw it in the water, you know, and still utilize it.
That looks like it's been thrown in the water several times.
Yeah, it's probably lured a few ducks here and there, just like you know, they call you the lure. You go in some place and you just lure the women all around you, right?
Yeah, thank you, sir.
But let's talk about the museum itself, because what a fantastic place that is for somebody to visit. Go through the museum. How you got 1,400 pieces, I guess?
We have a lot of pieces out, and then we have constant rotating exhibits. Right now, our permanent exhibit is What is a Decoy? And it goes through the history of decoys, what they were, how they're made, why they're made the way they are. We have an actual old gunning rig, which is what the hunters used to put out. Their decoys were referred to as a rig, and there's about 100 birds to a rig.
Wow.
100 to 200. And we have a rig that's intact by Frank Baker, who was, in the 1900s, was referred to as Home Run Baker. He's a Baseball Hall of Fame for the most home runs that year. I think it was 11. And we have his gunning rig intact that was bought at an auction and donated to the museum. So when somebody wants to know what a rig looks like, there's 200 of them piled in this pile there, and it's like, oh my goodness, and they had to put them all out, bringing them all in. So we have that. We've got an exhibit on the old market gunning, from where they were commercial hunting from the mid-1800s till about 1930, 1934.
Now, if people want to come see the museum, let's find out once again it's located.
It's located in Havre de Grace off of Giles Street on Madison Mitchell Way. And
just look for the promenade.
Look for the promenade. We're right there. It's the big white building right on the promenade.
And your hours of operation?
Monday through Saturday, 10:30 to 4:30, and Sunday noon to 4.
Yeah, so you're open 7 days a week.
We're
a lot of times to visit.
Except for major holidays.
Except for major holidays, yeah. And anything up and coming that you want to get out there? Or?
May 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, the 27th annual Decoy Wildlife and Art Festival, which takes place in town. We'll have about 125 different carvers and exhibitors, and
we might have to go down there and cover that. That'd be a lot of fun. We want to thank you for bringing decoys over here, so we can enjoy those. I like this, Kevin.
Yeah,
I
me
think
too.
Next week we should paint some decoys.
Well, you're a very good painter.
Yeah, I learned right.
Come on down.
There you go. We got.
I'll whittle, you paint.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about that as we take this break. You don't want to go anywhere. We'll be right back right after this.
Find out more about the Tim Qualls Show and other Positive Promotion productions, then log on to our website at www.posprotv.com.